Hey, get it. Well, hello. My name is Dr. Kristen Guillory, and I believe in the power of stories. I believe that it's okay not to be okay. I work with students, professionals, and families to embrace their story and acknowledge hidden pain in order to experience healing, experience hope, and walk in their purpose. I do this as a coach, as a counselor, as a professional development trainer. I've learned from my students as a college professor, as well as my clients, a few hurdles that tend to really get in the way. And the top two hurdles include not embracing one's story, being ashamed of one's story and one's truth. And very often that leads to actions where we're seeking things, trying to make us complete and whole. And guess what? You're already complete and whole, and you're already enough. I've also learned that many people try to cover and mask and deny pain. Many don't know that it's okay not to be okay. And in order to deal with that pain, we seek external things such as relationships or weight loss goals or overworking. And not that these things are necessarily wrong, but they'll never give you the true peace and healing that you desire. I know this so well because I can relate to both of these things. I got my first opportunity to do public speaking about 10 years ago, and the very first invitation was to speak to 300 high school students. 300. I was tutoring a high school teacher who learned that I was working on my PhD, and she said she wanted her students to meet a young Black woman working on this degree. So I took that opportunity so seriously. I began praying and thinking, and the Lord gave me some awesome ideas and wound up developing one of my most popular presentations at that time. I shared stories of those who had overcome really big hurdles. I also included a picture of me to include my story, but here's the thing. I never really talked about me because I didn't think my story was powerful. I didn't think I had those elements. When you think of a powerful, moving story, I didn't think my story had that. A few months later, I was invited to speak at my alma mater. Shout out TCU, come back. And they invited me to share about me, only me. That engagement went okay. A few months later, another university reached out to me and invited me to share about me. But this time, I did something different. I shared my story that I call PG6. I shared my story that includes being in band and being in AP classes and dealing with peer pressure and self-esteem issues and doubt, and a dean who was a hater, and abstinence, and being the only Black woman and the youngest working on a PhD. And in a matter of 24 hours, I received about 15 emails from women who were in that audience thanking me for sharing, and they also shared their stories of hurt and pain and abuse and suicide attempts and much more. And in that moment, I realized it's not about having the same story. It's about sharing one's truth. It's about embracing one's story. I also, for years, was that person who helped everybody, but I would never ask for help. I suffered in silence. I would say 5 months ago I dealt with this. I didn't think that it was okay not to be okay. So when someone would ask me how I'm doing, I would say fine, even though I might not have been. It wasn't until 2013, when our family experienced a tragedy, that I had no choice to admit that I wasn't good. And through that, I began seeing how many people are walking around in pain and suffering in silence and not wanting to admit that it's okay not to be okay. With that, I decided to listen to the train. Growing up, I was somebody who wanted to help so many people, which is why I got into the mental health field and later on higher education. I have worked with so many individuals across the country, as well as corporations, school districts, universities, and nonprofits to reach their goals around healing and understanding and embracing their story. I would love to walk with you on your journey. I want to offer you a free 30-minute call with me, and we can discuss healing and we can discuss embracing and finding your story. But here's the thing, I dance and incorporate music in just about everything I do. So join me on this journey to embracing your story, understanding that it's okay not to be okay, and experiencing healing with some dancing. Hey, get it.